I was inspired as a kid to become a pilot basically from the time that I was very small. My grandfather was a pilot, my dad took lessons, and I used to go to the airport all the time and always loved airplanes, always loved aviation. Built model airplanes, did as much as I could around aircraft, and just always knew I wanted to do that. I first touched the stick of an airplane when my grandfather owned a Luscombe 8E, and when I was 9 years old, he took me flying and he let me wiggle the stick and maneuver the airplane. Then when we moved from Ohio to Florida, I was 15, and part of that deal was I got to take flying lessons. I think that's probably why I stayed in aviation for 30 years, is just because it's kind of in my blood. I don't know what I'd do without it. I explored all options as a pilot when I was younger. I first was looking at military aviation, but then something kind of struck me where I've always wanted to do air shows, and I actually got into flying some aerobatic stuff. I did do the flight instructor thing for over 10 years. The way I came to forestry was I just needed to move on to kind of expand my horizons and to do something differently. There's definitely a learning curve to this type of flying. You have to be comfortable flying low to the ground. My normal fire is spin at about 500 feet. The environment is extremely turbulent. The other thing that's a learning curve for this, unlike most aviation jobs, is we have to learn a lot of fire behavior. You start being able to look at a fire and you can kind of see when it starts breathing and what's going to happen, and you got to kind of guess when wind shifts are going to happen and try to call them out to the people on the ground so they don't get burned over. Stick and rudder skills with this job is almost imperative, because we're constantly flying in turbulence. The airplane is getting jostled, and you've got to be able to feel the airplane. You got to be able to know what that airplane's about to do and kind of second guess it. The best advice I could give anyone that wants to fly for forestry: you need to build your time. Our minimum requirement's 1,000 hours. Most people hire in with probably 2,000 to 3,000. You have to have a commercial rating and instrument add-on. Hone your skills. Be good at manipulating the airplane the way you want it to. You have to learn to control the airplane very well. Anyone wanting to can definitely do this job. They just have to apply themselves. The career path I took is one that I never thought I would end up here. I always thought it would probably be an airline or a corporate, but I kind of like flying the small stuff, and I like flying fairly low to the ground and working with the people on the ground and the other pilots, the air tanker pilots, the helicopter pilots. Also just helping the citizens of Florida and helping to try to save the houses and the wildlife and try to preserve our land so that it doesn't get scorched and ruined. It's a very rewarding opportunity.